Well, I guess the backyard is as good a place to deliver a lecture about speech anxiety. I'm back here. It's kind of a beautiful day. I got two of my granddaughters are back there. You can see they're foraging in the tomato plants. Um, so, speech anxiety, sort of in a non-academic description, is where you're like nervous about, you're not especially excited about speaking in front of folks. I'm guessing that there are a number of you that have chosen this medium because, well, you're not going to have to do it in front of 30 people, which, by the way, some of you are going to have to do when you move into your professional career or you move into other areas in your academic career. As a matter of fact, as you move into the upper division and into your graduate work, many of your assessments will be done through your presentations. They less tests, if you will, and more writing. And then you'll be expected to give presentations to your professors and your colleagues about your work. So I got good news and I got bad news. The bad news is that there's no magic pill, and it's not a formula. I've got no formula for you around reducing your levels of speech anxiety. I have some suggestions. I have some things that I've done over the years that have made it easier for me to speak in front of people. One of the things that I do is that I just make sure that I'm really, really prepared, and that tends to increase my confidence level. Preparation is to make sure that I've done accurate research, make sure that I've satisfied whatever written requirements might be part of the assignment, outlines, etc. And then I just practice, practice, practice. One thing about practice is it's less effective doing it in front of a mirror or maybe in front of like me, I've got 57 stuffed animals on my bed. So that's generally less effective than actually practicing in front of people. It's a different dynamic when you're actually in front of people. So again, preparation is a way to reduce anxiety. It works really, really well for me. Another thing that I've learned how to do is not visualize a perfect presentation. Hey, can you guys please keep it down a little bit? Thank you. So don't visualize a perfect presentation. That's a trap. No presentations are perfect. There are always things that are going to get in the way, and if you get stuck in this like vision of perfection, like just with the girls here, like I could let that trip me up, and then that would be all that I would think about, or I can just sort of laugh it off and move on. So don't visualize a perfect presentation. And then the other thing, like I said, is just lots of preparation. Some of the manifestations of speech anxiety, as defined in the textbook, are increased heart rate, which can result in red faces. I don't know if any of you are out there are red face people. Another thing, is you get sweaty, palm sweat, shaky voice. And then there's an interesting phenomenon that is where you've practiced, you've prepared. You guys are still making noise, okay? Thank you. And then you stand up and your mind draws a blank. The technical term for that is stuff falls out. So no matter how hard you prepare, sometimes we, suffer from these sort of normal manifestations of speech anxiety. The idea here is for you just to sort of, take note of it, do the best that you can, and sort of laugh it off and move on. Another thing to keep in mind is that I have found is that most audiences are incredibly understanding. This notion of speech anxiety it's just common among human beings. I think that we all suffer from it. I'm going to tell you about mine here in a minute. And there's a thing that happens for me if I'm not being mindful and I'm speaking, is I have this idea that if I don't do it perfect, that people are going to judge me based on that, and then it really makes it difficult for me to move on. I think that people are really understanding and allowing. So worrying a lot about what other people are going to think of you, that can also be a barrier and create more anxiety. So again, you know, this idea of speech anxiety, I suffer from speech anxiety. I have a little bit of it going on right now. Whether or not you see it, it's still going on in the background. And my fear is that you're not going to like what I'm delivering to you, that you're going to judge me for not being perfect. Any little stumbles like this dog barking in the background here, you know, I think, well, what are they going to think? And again, I could let that stop me, or I could just figure that you guys are here to work with me and you'll understand that, well, things aren't perfect. So again, to sort of review, everybody has speech anxiety. It's normal, it's natural. We can get through it. There are some things that you can do. Preparation, not envisioning a perfect presentation, and you can work your way through these presentations and not get stuck when you find yourself freaking out a little bit. Till next time, Captain Bob signing off.